better internet. That was my bad. Welcome back. Haymakers and Hellhounds, Season 0, Episode 6, Prequel Consequences. Thomas Duder, author of the things. That was Travion Satterwhite. Thanks for coming on this show. I'm just saying, there's something to consider as far as the Prequel Consequences. It's always about how consistently can you keep these consequences, what has happened from in the past. Don't retcon it. Do not retcon it. Please don't retcon it. I hate it when people go, it's like, oh no, that never happened. Nigga, I read it. It happened. Once you publish, and I need to point this out once again, the line in the sand is upon being published. Now, it's not to say there's not such a thing as shadow edits or shadow updates, but we don't talk about that. I don't talk about that, and you don't know anything about it. Suffice it to say, they are always at the best you can put them out there when it's time to publish. And with that stated, that's something to also consider right there with your own work. No matter what, the moment it goes out for public consumption, it has to be at the highest quality, the highest consistency, always. So knowing your own backstory and how it affects your current writing, and also how it's going to affect anything that happens in the future as you write, it has to make sense. Unless you're trying to not make sense, but by then, I'm pretty certain the readers already know what the hell's going on. If you can get away with that kind of chaotic bullshit, go for it. But in the meantime, consistency. Always consistency. And that's the name of the game. Seriously, for me, for my writing style, that is the name of the game, my friends. Consistency. What you write in the backstory, how it affects the current story, and also how it is going to affect the future story, the future parts of your story, should be a noticeable progression. And it should be. It should honestly be. It should be as smooth or as janky as you want it to be, but it should make sense to get from this point to that point, and then finally to this point. You know what I mean? Point A, point B, point C. When you get to C, you should be like, that's what happened from A, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you need love for your audience, but if you have the love of your audience, the love of the medium, no matter what it is, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to spring that on them. You're going to want to give it to them. Give us more. Give them more. Always give them some more. Always give them some more. I'm just saying, give them some more is an important thing. And that is a strong, fundamental, core part of my belief in this when it comes to the prequel consequences. Awareness of the backstory, but even more so, which you've already done the backstory, whatever. How is it affecting your current writing? How will it affect your future writing? Let's go back to planets, whatever. So, the four goddesses gathered together to create the holy sword. What they never saw the cycle coming. The cycle was something that was established as a consequence of these two, and Nexus is using that for his own gain. So suddenly, instead of only having a couple of generations that he can move, suddenly he has an entire locked-in cycle that just reality itself, the powers of causality, which I'm probably using that term wrong, whatever. The power of reality itself has forced them into the cycle, and there's no way that's going to break out until the Devil King and the hero. Now, I mentioned before that Nexus is a creature beyond time and space. We were putting down the idea that maybe it's been invading other worlds leading up to this one, simply because it wants to stop that from happening, the Devil King and the hero. So why don't we scrap that? Because that actually goes against the idea that he created the Devil King. Now that is a completely new thing that I thought of just in this recording, but I would like to keep that. So let's go back and rewind this a little bit. So Nexus is a creature that exists off of devouring whole dimensions, not just planets, but whole dimensions. It has accidentally come upon this one. Now there's several reasons as to what's going on with Nexus and this dimension. This dimension is fighting back. This dimension is sentient, and it has seen what Nexus has done to its siblings, so to speak, and so it has begat the Devil King, it begat the cycle. It created the cycle, knowing full well that if enough of this happens, something will happen. I know the definition of madness is if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, but you expect a different result. In this case, though, you could say that with each iteration, basically Ragnarok, the cycle of Ragnarok, that each time Ragnarok happens, we can get it a little bit better and do it a little bit differently. And it's the same thing here. Even though the cycle of the Devil King and the hero is a continuous cycle. Each time there has been a 0.1 difference, a 0.1 margin of difference between each cycle, and it's taken 1,338 generations for it to finally bust out. This dimension plans to finally come into fruition. A very long game, but one that would be a blink of an eye for a creature such as a sentient dimension or a sentient world or anything really. So there we have it. This battle is going to be between Nexus and the very long game by this dimension itself. I still don't have a name for the planet, but whatever. But that's how we are building this up. The consequences of all the way back then are now being felt and will determine what happens as we move on into the future. I still don't know if this is a standalone book. I wouldn't mind seeing this developed as a series, but I already have enough series on my hands, so and I wouldn't mind developing this book, this story. I wouldn't mind actually developing it. I really did. I know I already have one person who complained, I'm not really about this story. Well, that's okay. You got your own, right? That's the most important thing. Are you applying my techniques to your story? I'm just saying. And that is about that. So, let me ask you something. Have you commented and subscribed? Have you brought me your party ass? Have you brought me your party ass friends yet? Have you brought me your little geekazoid friends? Have you brought me the would-be artists? Well, why not? Bring them unto me! Give them to me. Bring them here, and I will show them the power that is to be found is the Haymakers and Hellhounds. Haymakers and Hellhounds. Fuck! I'm not good with accents, I'm sorry. Here's some, suffice it to say, here's something for you to consider. Have you been playing the Thomas Duder, author of the things, drinking game? Was it Thomas Duder, Drinking of the Games? Whatever. Yeah, every time I say, suffice it to say, every time I say so or but, something like that. A friend of mine showed it to me and I'm like, I have a drinking game! I'm going to go find it and I'll make sure to pop it in the description or in the first comment, whatever. It's going to be fun. Just please don't kill yourself. I say that a lot, so we might be looking at getting some white boy wasted, white girl wasted, white people wasted, whatever. So, let me ask you something. When it comes to your world, the one that you're building right now, not the one that you're building with me. I mean, the one. Well, maybe you are building it with me, but it's yours. You know what I mean? What has happened in the past that is affecting your writing now? What do you think? How do you think it will affect your future? I'm just curious. Let me know. So, with that stated, hit me up. Let's do some things. Catch around on the next episode, of course. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't care if I said it twice. Bold-faced pandering is all I can do because I have no money for marketing otherwise. Just hit me up. Let's do some things, baby. Give me your music. Bring me your friends. Keep it real with us. Haymakers and Hellhounds. Season 0, Episode 6. Prequel Consequences. I am Thomas Duder, author of the things. Insert witty catchphrase here.